After the Andrew Huberman story dropped on Monday and I was quoted talking about AG1, I sent the company 3 questions about their health claims, and they replied. They sort of answered 2 questions and ignored the third, I think. I mean, their last sentence was, "We use science and research, not perceptions of small or large amounts, to drive the formulation of AG1. Not really sure what that means, but they did send me some papers, so let's look at those. I want to say studies, but my questions were all about backing their health claims to the dose level found in AG1, meaning if an adaptogen or nutraceutical is clinically proven to do something, and you're using that research to claim that AG1 does that thing, do you have enough of it in your product? Okay, so the main claim AG1 makes is that it's a daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. If that sounds ambiguous, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything, but some people sure do parrot it.
The reason I started taking Athletic Greens and the reason I still take Athletic Greens is that it covers all of my foundational nutritional needs.
So besides that, the actual claims on the site are gut health, focus and energy, stress and mood balance, and immune defense. Now, how does one product de-stress you and give you energy? But that's the thing. The language is intentionally ambiguous. What does supporting your daily energy levels mean? How about balancing your body's response to various types of stress? I would expect their research to give me some clue, but honestly, it obscures more than it reveals. They told New York Magazine that their product works by synergy, which in this context basically means that the sum of the parts works better than the individual components. So they sent me a review published in the journal Nutrients, and 4 of the 6 authors are employed by AG1, among other listed conflicts of interest. The number one purpose of the review is to propose a new working definition of foundational nutrition, which is their marketing term. They focus on gut health a lot, which is certainly important, but they invoke functional medicine very early on. If you haven't seen my previous videos on this, functional medicine posits that almost all disease begins in the microbiome due to a leaky gut, which is a made-up condition. I mean, intestinal permeability does exist, but if you have it, you better be on the way to the hospital. And this paper mimics some of those talking points, which makes sense because their research team is composed of people from functional medicine and integrative health. I mean, one of the naturopaths on staff is the director of both product marketing and education. And look, I like the ideas of functional medicine and integrative health, looking for the root cause of disease, but usually they're just trying to sell you supplements, and AG1 isn't really addressing that root cause, at least not in any way that they can prove. So I ask for research confirming AG1's health claims, and they send me a research paper on poor health and obesity and for some reason mental health, as well as research on some individual ingredients, but the synergy they're talking about is entirely speculative. It's aspirational, which is what a lot of players in the wellness industry do when they want to market something that they don't have proof for. I mean, including a 1.5 pages on dietary guidelines doesn't really tell me much about what you want me to pay $79 a month for. And then this is an actual photo in that review. Scary French fries versus yummy peas. And then the paper actually ends with this statement: only by accepting that modern food and the guidelines by which they are followed are not enough can we, as a society, begin to tackle this global crisis. I asked for some sort of proof that the ingredients in AG1 work synergistically, and that's what they send me. They also just send a link to the research page on the AG1 site, which I've already seen, but hey, while we're here, the page starts with a study that shows AG1 is more bioavailable than a multivitamin and that it supports a healthy gut. Now, this study was conducted on 3 people and it was in vitro, meaning they took a stool sample from those people and put them into a petri dish. The second on the page is a self-reported study with 35 people and no control. This is not research. I mean, it's the beginning of research. It's like saying, we don't have money for real research right now, now. So we're going to start and see what happens and where it goes, which is part of the process, but it's not the part where you get to make health claims, which again is why the language is so vague. Then you get down to peer-reviewed research, which starts with the paper I covered a moment ago. And yeah, there were academic editors for that paper, but again, it's not a study. The second one on nutrient synergy, same thing. It was written by AG1's staff. Here's the conclusion. Mounting evidence suggests that certain nutrients, when consumed together, can have a greater efficacy than when consumed alone and have a profound impact on health and longevity. Probably true. Are those nutrients at the proper dose level in AG1? Who the fuck knows? Third paper, written by AG1 staff. They conclude, from the data, it is suggested that AG1 exerts a prebiotic effect expected from the combination of fiber and phytonutrients, but also from other aspects of the product like the micronutrients. Great, but this was conducted in a human gut simulator, not an actual human gut. Again, cursory stage research conducted from a model that was created in 1993. Not even clinical. They write that it's a preclinical experiment. Study number 4. Guess who wrote it? This paper is about whether a powder or tablet is more bioavailable. That's it. Also done in a simulator, this one in the upper GI tract. Do you want number 5? No, you don't. It's the same thing, which is to say that AG1 is putting up pilot study research at best, and it appears that they're claiming that that's how they prove the health claims that they're making, which often happens in an entirely unregulated industry like supplements. Yeah, I get that they skirt around those issues by keeping the language really vague, but isn't that part of the problem? They even have a section about research data validation where they claim to mitigate bias, yet every single piece of research is produced by paid staff members. And yes, AG1 has published in peer-reviewed journals, but what they've published doesn't confirm the health claims that they're making. I'm guessing that people just see some charts and some papers on a page and think, oh, they did the science, I don't have to worry. I see that all the time in the wellness space. And as long as people don't actually read the papers, they're fine. But some of us read the papers. And if that's what the company is doing, what does that say about the scientific advisors hired by AG1 to market the product?